Alrighty, guys, welcome back for round two. I am your host, Pope, here on the MTG Legacy Paper Discord Twitch channel. We're bringing you Tuesday Night Fight Night. I am joined by my friend, Ivan. We're going to see our round two matchup here. What do you think of this matchup,
everybody.
Ivan?
Oh, I think that this is absolutely incredible. Looking at the Tensei's deck here, the Delver Sharkblade, right? So Tensei is notorious for bringing these Blade Plus decks, right? Like last time Tensei came with the Cephalid Breakfast, which was basically another Blade deck, right? But with the combo of Cephalid Breakfast in there. And Verdant coming out with the Dimir Shadow, right? The blue-black Shadow deck, right?
Which has basically become a modern and legacy staple in itself. So it basically
exactly
decks in one of the formats going against his new spice.
Absolutely. And I mean, Shadow being known to be, one of the most powerful Delver decks you can play, right? I mean, it's Dimir Shadow, but it is also an extremely powerful Delver deck.
Yeah, so for our viewers who may not be familiar with the Shadow mindset, you're going to see the Shadow player basically try and put his life down to as close to zero as possible without killing themselves. The main card of the list is Death Shadow. So Death Shadow gets -X for what your life total is. So basically, you have to put yourself down to near-death experiences to allow yourself Death Shadow on the battlefield.
Absolutely. It's just like what the great himself said, right? Bob said greatness at any cost, and Death Shadow, takes that and just ramps it up to 1,000,000, right?
Yeah, so we saw the card in our first matchup of being Street Wraith, being able to drop off some Street Wraiths, put themselves down to 16, 14. You're not going to see many exciting lands. You're going to see a lot of shock lands from the Ravnica sets to put their lives down to 3 every fetch if they can. Their job is to put themselves to 1 and not die, and be able to swing a 12/12 into the face of their opponent.
And so, once again, if you're not very familiar, anyone who's not super familiar with Legacy, these Delver strategies are very, very big in Legacy. And this year, you're going to see basically two sides of the same coin. Very different decks, but both relying on this sort of very quick Delver plan, as we say in Legacy, Delver them out if possible. And, well, here we go, turn one.
Turn one sees a Delver. Delver Sharkblade doing exactly what they want to do. Both kept 7, swinging a Delver on turn 1. That's what they want to see. Every Delver player wants to see that.
Exactly. And, well, I will point out that with Tensei playing these main deck Swords to Plowshares, that's going to put a big hamper on Verdant's game plan here with the Death Shadow, because not only are you going to be, removing these Death Shadows and Delvers, but you're also subsequently making subsequent shadows even smaller by gaining them life.
What a hand from Tensei. We are going to see a Thoughtseize here targeting Tensei. So we have a Spell Pierce, a Mystic Sanctuary, one of my favorite cards of all time. We have Batterskull, Teferi Time Reveler, the new War of the Spark Teferi, and we have
very powerful.
So a monster hand here from Tensei. So basically, turn 1 Thoughtseize being probably one of the best plays that I think the Shadow player could have asked for.
Yes, I agree. So what do you think, in your mind, what do you think Verdant's going to take here? My vote is actually on Teferi.
I was going to say Teferi. The Batterskull's kind of just sitting there. So is the Supreme Verdict. No white source at the moment. The Spell Pierce is fine as well. Those are the options here. I don't think they're worried about a Spell Pierce that often. We are going to Teferi get grabbed here. I think that's the absolute correct play here from Verdant.
Yeah, Verdant realizing that Teferi is absolutely very powerful magic.
Yeah. We are going to see the Ponder on top, flipping Delver to a 3/3. So for those of you who don't know, Delver is basically at the upkeep. You get to look at the top card of your library. If you reveal an instant or sorcery, it transforms into basically a monstrosity.
Yes, a 3/2 flyer.
3/2 flyer with basically just looks. It's basically a mosquito on what's the word? Basically on steroids. A mosquito on steroids.
Yeah, that's right. The old insectile aberration.
Yeah, so we are going to see the flip of the flip hit for 3. Then we're going to move to the second main phase and go for a Ponder.
Yep, and as we Yep, and as we talked about in the round 1 here, we're used to seeing these blue decks playing all of these cantrips like Ponder, Brainstorm, to be able to not only have utility, in what they do, but also just replace themselves every time, which is a thing that Legacy's, quite known for. It's very rare to see blue decks without these cantrips in them.
And the best part
And
about the best part about this whole fight right now is Verdant's basically still having a great time. They don't care about a Delver hitting them for 3. It just gets them closer to casting a Death Shadow. For a normal
that's
player,
right.
seeing a 3/2 in the air just is a little frightening. Verdant's just, all right, cool, I'll cast a Ponder, pass it on.
Yeah, because Verdant's creatures are going to certainly, for the most part, be able to outclass Tensei's, right? I mean, we have
Absolutely.
the giant Death Shadows, we have Gurmag Anglers, things like that, all very, very efficient threats.
Yeah, and we also see one of my favorite cards that came out of Throne was Brazen Bar. Love that card to death. Basically being able to bounce creatures, bounce any permanent other than a land, and just take control of the battlefield the next turn.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, exactly. As well as being a threat on its own. Yeah, I agree. Definitely one of my favorite newer cards to come out for sure.
Nothing better than bouncing a Delver, having it come back as a 1/1.
That's right. All right, so it looks like we're going to attempt to fatal push this Delver here.
Pretty good play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very efficient.
Verdant going down to 12. Now we are in the Death Shadow able to cast range. Death Shadow does have a power toughness of 13/13. Once you get your life total to 12, basically you can start casting Death Shadows. I believe the magic number for Death Shadows is to get down to 7. That gives you a 5/5 or a 6/6 on the board. And that's like the magic number from what I've been told.
Oh, yeah. For 1 mana, that's incredibly powerful.
So it looks like Tensei is going to be in full, pretty much waiting mode now. 3 mana with a Floodstrain on the board. We saw the cards in hand. Didn't look like a lot of fast action other than the Delver. And just kind of waiting.
We have seen since then, though, we've seen a little bit of library manipulation. So it could be anything, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now we're just kind of all waiting. We know what Verdant's game plan is. Just keep dragging their life total down. We're down to 9 on the Shadow.
Absolutely.
That gives us a 4/4 hit in the battlefield. So we're going to slowly see here maybe some big creatures starting to come out of Verdant. We are going to see Gurmag Angler hit first.
Yep, and there is that 5/5 for 1 here.
It looks like they only had 5 cards in the bin, so they did have to end up paying 2 for that. But still, a 5/5 for 2 on turn 3 is not bad.
Oh yeah, some were saying for a while it was the Tarmogoyf killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Dr. Leo saying in chat, Tensei is basically playing a mid-range deck versus Verdant's Tempo Plan. Yeah, I mean that may end up just how it shakes out, right? I mean, if Verdant can answer all of these quick Delvers and things like that, then yeah, Tensei's definitely gonna have to switch gears and start to play this more grindy, as you said, like Blade deck, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes up to what Tensei feels like becomes the biggest threat at the board. Does the creatures become the threat, or does the threat of even Verdant's own life total become a big problem in the game?
Exactly.
It's all fun and games putting your opponent down so low and having control of that matchup. The lower you put a shadow player, the more in trouble you become.
Exactly. It can be absolutely terrifying, right? I mean,
yeah, we do have Supreme Verdict mana on the field now, but the problem is does Tensei wait to see a shadow? I think that becomes the question here.
Well, I mean, Tensei does still well. Okay, I guess the answer is yes.
We're just gonna say no. Gurmag Angler will go away.
Yeah, no need for speculation. Tensei says nope. Got it.
Not gonna sit here and wait and put myself any lower than I would ever need to.
That's right. Still sitting at a nice, comfy 19 life, and Verdant with no play, possibly also sitting with permission, things like that. Yeah. Okay, Brazen Borrower. There's that card we were just talking about.
God, fantastic card. So we are going to see a straight counterspell on the Brazen Borrower.
Just getting rid of it. Actual factual counterspell, huh?
Actual factual counterspell, the one of in the in 10 size deck. Great card to see. Not always the best Magic, not always, even though it is considered the counterspell. There are just better options in decks now with Force Negation, Force of Will. Even Daze is becoming a more popular pick over counterspell. And we
Yeah.
are going to see, it looks like, a Wasteland come in for Shadow, for the Shadow player over on Verdant's side of the battlefield.
Nice. Yeah, doing that Delver thing. Trying to constrict your opponent on mana as much as possible.
Yeah. So apparently this game is becoming a lot of draw pass. And as we're playing two mid-range decks, that's absolutely what's going to happen. We've gotten rid of the big turn 1, turn 2 threats. The first Gurmag Angler's gone. This is going to become a very, very grindy matchup, I think, here soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to Force of Will, pitching a Force on the Delver.
All right. Speaking of that free permission.
Delver player putting themselves even lower, down to 8. We've now hit that magic area, that 4-4-5-5-6-6 Delver. We're going to see the Force back on the Force.
All right. This is what we like to see here. We like to see these sort of counterspell permission battles. Yeah, and it looks like Tensei comes out on top here.
Yeah, it's because it's unfortunate having that Spell Pierce in hand put them in an awkward position. Having completely untapped on mana base on Verdant's side of the board, that Spell Pierce just became irrelevant. Luckily, the Force of Will in hand allowed them to just hold on to all of it, and they are going to the correct play, Wasteland the Sanctuary there just to get that card out of the battlefield.
Yes, absolutely. You don't know what sort of shenanigans that can come from that, right? With bouncing and
absolutely.
anything.
And we see Verdant draw go. Delver's going to show us another Force flipped into the Mosquito.
All right, not the worst thing you could see.
Shadow down to 5. This is a really big question here. What does Verdant want to do? He's got a 3/3 in the air he has to deal with.
I mean, hopefully draw another Fatal Push, something like that, right?
Yeah, we can hope.
Yeah, Verdant's deck does have quite a few answers. I think we have do we have Snuff Out? Yes, we do have Snuff Out. We do have another Fatal Push in the deck, so
yeah,
those are live options here.
Shadow player's down to 2 here. Let's see what we can get going. Gonna crack down to 1. As of right now, Verdant is up against the wall right where a Shadow player sometimes needs to be to get a 12/12 on the board. But I just don't think a Death Shadow just doesn't find the answer here. He's got to get rid of this Delver and hold control.
Yeah, doesn't matter how many Death Shadows you drop, none of them have flying, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely can't cast the, as Chaotic's pointing out here, definitely can't cast that Snuff Out for its alternate cost. It looks like we are going to see probably, there it is, there's the full cast Snuff Out.
All right. Are we going to see Force back?
Force has got to have a blue card in hand to flip it back. 3 cards in hand for Tensei.
Or even another Spell Pierce, things like that. That could be game then.
Yeah, Spell Pierce. The Spell Pierce here would be killer with no open mana. Tensei is in the tank. You're going to show us a Force pitching a Jace the Mind Sculptor.
All right, so do we see something in response to that? I really don't know.
I think that's going to do it. That gives us for game 1.
All right. So going into the sideboards here, I'll go ahead and start with the Death Shadows deck and read it out, and you tell me what you like here.
I'm ready.
All right, so we have 1 Caracas, we have a Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 of the new card Eliminate, 2 Hymn to Torak, 1 Ratchet Bomb, 2 Winter Orb, a Liliana the Last Hope, Narset Parter of Veils, and 2 Plague Engineer. So what are we thinking here?
So this becomes a really weird question. I think we bring in a Narset, shut down the Brainstorm, shut down the Ponders. allows us a little bit of on top stuff. We can also possibly bring in some Plague Engineers to just turn off Delver entirely, without even knowing that they're playing against Stoneforge Mystic or anything like that. We could possibly just name Human, knocking out Human, Snapcaster Mage, and Delver, taking them off the board entirely.
Yeah, I think that's a really good plan. I also wanted to point out that with Tensei showing that Jace the Mind Sculptor at the end, eliminate out of the board may end up actually being really good, right? Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Well, it's with 3 or less, so it's not going to hit the Jace. So I suppose that's something they're going to have to weigh.
We did see the Teferi, though. We did see the Teferi, which can become a very big issue for a tempo versus tempo matchup.
That's true. And let's see. They were not afraid to take it out of the hand in first turn, right?
Absolutely not. The Thoughtseize there taking that Teferi out of hand was great. I would have questions for him. I would like maybe him could get some cards out of their hand that they just don't have. Removing force, the second card for forces.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a lot of good options going into this. I'm really excited to see what we're going to have on the other side here.
Go ahead and read it out to me.
So it looks like we have 2 copies of Blue Elemental Blast, 2 copies of Containment Priest, 1 copy of Disenchant, 1 copy of Lavinia Azorius Renegade, 1 Jite, 2 Back to Basics, which I think are definitely going to go in, 1 Brazen Borrower, 4 Leyline of the Void, and 1 Palace Jailer.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the Palace Jailer is interesting, right? Because this blue-white does just transform itself into in these these Palace Jailers and these Lavinias and things like that and like you had said, these back to basics to really become the control deck and just focus on that game plan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we could see another borrower come in here, another to knock out more Delvers, some blink more Delvers here. I would like to see back to basics, not knowing your opponent's land base, but we can see clearly that our the Legacy Death Shadows deck does not have any basics. So
Absolutely.
We can really see them just shut down a land base here.
That's true. And I mean, with Verdant's deck, I mean, it can run on very, very small amounts of mana. But as we saw in that last game, it's possible that they can draw 3-4 lands and, blocking them out of their entire land base, right? I mean, they tap out to play anything and, well,
done.
Yeah, that could just be lights out right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see what kind of cards will come into this. I definitely could see another Brazen Borrower come in. I would love to see a Jailer to give them that extra draw step at the end there. I think it's going to be a really good matchup. I could possibly even just seeing the Typhoons coming out here. They didn't do any work in the first game. He didn't even need them.
That's true, and I agree with Chaotic Bear in chat here that Lavinia is great against these free cards, right? Force Will, Dave, Snuff Out.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a really good post-sideboard game here with our 2 players here. A lot of great options for both of them coming in here.
Right, and Verdant, being on the play once again is exactly what they want to be doing here. Being this very fast, lean, efficient Delver deck is, they just want to come out the gates swinging as fast as possible.
We're going to have a handful of cards for both players. Both players keeping 7. Verdant probably on the play here. Yeah, Verdant going to go crack a fetch here, go to 19. Probably going to grab a Watery Grave here, go down to 17, and just start that life total going down.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And what do we have for a turn 1 play here? I'm going to assume there will be
one. I would probably like to see another Thoughtseize. I think a Thoughtseize turn 1 would be really great against Tensai. Just taking control cards out of their hand.
Yeah, punching a hole in their game plan, or just once again, just going fast, right? Just putting down the Delver. It's about as good as you can ask for.
Got blue-white Delver versus blue-black Delver. That's exactly what we want here. Hey, we found a blocker. You're absolutely right, Chaotic. We got a blocker for a Delver. Yeah, absolutely, Doc. What you're saying about back to basics, it's absolutely amazing in this kind of matchup, but sometimes they're just faster than you.
Right.
We're going to see a Delver back to Delver.
Hey, Malfi, welcome to the chat. It was awesome watching you play. Don't even worry about that Stony Silence. It's all in the past.
So we're going to see a Days get forced here. We're now going to see a no mana Delver versus a 1 mana Delver here. Delver trigger on the stack. What we got? We're going to show a Ponder. We got an Insect.
Alrighty.
So we just want to let everybody know while we got some players shuffling here, we do have a massive announcement coming out next week for our Tuesday night. We have a special edition of Tuesday Night Game Fight next week. Just a little bit. It will be a revised version of Legacy. We're going to be having some differences in what we're allowed to play next week, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be same time, same place, but we will be trying out something a little special this time. So, just keep in touch. Come over to the Discord, add us, say hi, check us out. We'll keep you posted.
After I get stomped in game 3, we're going to have the huge announcement. I'm really excited about it. I hope to be playing in it. I hope I get picked to play in it. I've got an idea of what I want to play when we're playing it, but we're going to see what happens.
Oh, yeah. And once again, good luck to you in round 3.
Thank you, man. Jay Winter, thank you so much for the follow.
Hey, welcome. Thank you all for being here once again. If you're just tuning in, we're the MTG Paper Legacy Discord. This is my boy Hafi up top. I'm Ivan Luz, and thanks for joining the stream, y'all. Come watch some Legacy. Come hang out, have a good time. Let us be your local meta.
Let us be your local meta. Right now, we've got a crazy meta going on right now. We got Delver Shadow versus Delver Stoneblade with Shark Typhoon. And we are going to see the 4-life snuffing out the Delver. Get it out of here. Get it out. Yeah. We don't want
it. Right. There can only be one, and it's mine.
Can only be one.
Chaotic Bear in chat just trolling people.
We are going to see the Stoneforge Mystic on the stack here. We are going to see a Daze in response here. Is that going to resolve?
It is.
There's the force.
Ooh, pitching to Fairy here.
Whew. I mean, when your back's up against the wall, staring down a 3-2, and your opponent's just having the answers, you kind of have to answer back.
That's right. And I mean, getting a Batter Skull here or a Sword of Fire and Ice, I mean, that's going to really
absolutely
swing things into Tensei's favor here.
Yeah, so actually, this is actually even a better matchup for Tensei. He is not running Sword of Fire and Ice. He actually is running Sword of Feast and Famine, which gets through the shadows, gets through those Gurmag anglers.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we're not seeing them on the battlefield right now, but that card being in against a Shadow or a Gurmag angler is just going to run great for them.
That's true, right? And it being Sword of Feast and Famine also is going to allow Tensei to use their double up on their mana as well, and to be able to play these bigger casting cost cards. Yeah,
and that is actually what we're going to see get picked up here by Tensei. Going to grab that Sword of Feast and Famine. 14-12. Verdant in now the range of seeing another Death Shadow, but we are going to see a second Delver hit the battlefield. I like that play, though. Being able to go over the top of these creatures that Tensei has shown right now. Really the best thing for them right now.
Absolutely, and this is what we had mentioned before, right, about just delvering them out. Sometimes you just get quick delvers down and protect them, protect the queen, and race to the finish.
Yeah. Yeah, for those in chat, we're not playing pre-modern. This is going to be a little spicy. Don't you worry. We're going to give you a good old announcement at the end of the stream. But we are not playing pre-modern.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Third land here for Tensei. Let's see what happens. We're going to another Delver. Just doing work.
That's right, doing the Delver dance here.
I raise you your Delver, and I'll show you another one.
That's right. Said, yo, dog, I heard you like Delvers on Delvers.
So we are going to see a second flip of the Delver, and you were correct. We did see the Eliminate come in, as it's shown here on the top of the library. Eliminate did come in during these games.
I like that. I think Eliminate is really, really valuable. I think it's very good for these blue-black decks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not having access to green has typically been sort of a problem for dealing with planeswalkers, but Eliminate coming in and sort of filling that hole.
I mean, even if you can't hit a planeswalker, you still can get rid of a Delver sitting in your face. You can still get rid of a Snapcaster Mage doing you dirty on the ground. Stoneforge,
right.
Get rid of it.
All of them, right? Most creatures in Legacy, if they're not giant flying demons or spaghetti monsters, they're usually little utility creatures, or just really super hyper efficient beaters like Delver.
Yeah. So we are going to see a cycled Street Wraith down to 10 for Verdant, swinging in with both Delvers. That's 6 damage going in here.
Very quick clock, yeah.
Did someone say tiny leaders? No, we are not playing. You know this, Prez. We're not playing tiny leaders.
I'm telling you, all this speculation.
And then to answer your question, what did he grab off the Stoneforge mistake? He grabbed a Sword of Feast and Famine on top of that.
Yes.
The Batter Skull is a good pick there, but I just think being able to get around what's on the board at any given moment, I think a Sword of Feast and Famine there is just the better card.
Right, and not only that, but being able to just get these cards out of Verdant's hand, right? I mean, just whittling away the hand, and you can't cast these Death Shadows or Gurmag Anglers if they're in your graveyard.
Oh, you guys crack me up in chat. You guys are great. That's not legal in tiny leaders. No, you're right. It's not legal in tiny leaders.
Doc DeLeo coming in talking about village rights. He knows.
We are going to see the Thoughtseize here out of Verdant, and that's just going to do it there. Verdant seeing that he has Tensei seeing that he has no options there, just going to scoop up to the Thoughtseize. Doesn't want to possibly reveal any sideboard information.
Very smart. Yeah, just had enough, right?
Yeah. Exciting. That's 2 game 3s tonight.
Very good. Oh yeah, some really back and forth genuine magic going on here. Incredible.
Genuine Delver v Delver matchups with some spice on the side.
Hey, you came out to see Legacy. We're showing you Legacy here, right? It doesn't get much more Legacy nowadays, right?
Did someone say Infect Beyond? Beyond, is that what I heard? Someone say Infect?
Uh-oh.
But yeah, just want to say it one more time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We are the MTG Paper Legacy Discord. Come hang out with us. We got games going all the time. Mods are playing. Everyone's playing as much as we can. We're implementing some new stuff soon. Even playtesting possibly coming soon. Playtesting tags are our new thoughts that we're working on right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if you're not joining us for our fight nights or our leagues, just stop over in our LFG channel, ping some people, say you're down for a game, and someone will be there to, jam with you.
Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, Europe, China, we've got games going all of the time. I've seen LFG.
You're on Earth, on the moon.
On Earth, on the moon, games will be going.
We're everywhere.
There's actually a game going on right now while we're streaming in another channel. We've got 2 hanging out playing a game right now while the stream's going.
Right? Just multitasking.
We got
some straight grinders out here. Let's see. Cowbell in chat says 10 Fins is the best deck in Legacy. Changed my mind. I don't think I can. To be fair, I think that 10 Fins may just be the best deck in Legacy. As Prez points out, we had a sort of 10 Fins deck just win recently in our league. So
yeah,
go ahead and check that out, right? You can take a look at our VODs on YouTube. Check it out, guys.
Yeah, MTG Paper Legacy on YouTube. We've got all sorts of content going on from our streams here from our replays of our streams to 1v1 matchups between Ivan and his wife. We got all sorts of good stuff going on over there.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, come check us out. Check out our head-to-head videos. Just come on by. We'd love to have you. And welcome once again to everybody.
Also, big announcement for us. We're running a huge Saturday Legacy tournament this week. Proxy allowed. That's the biggest thing we're seeing a lot. Proxy allowed this Saturday. Registration is open for our Saturday tournament. Last week we had 22 players. Not this past week, but the weekend before that, because it was Memorial Day. We had a 22-player Legacy Discord tournament. We'd love to see more players out there. Let's push for 30 this weekend. I'd love to see 30 players.
Oh, yeah.
6 rounds of good old-fashioned Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all of our followers tonight. I see your new faces in here. Come out, man. Come out and join
Alfie,
our.
you can proxy Necro. You can proxy Necro. If you really, really wanted to, you could proxy it. Bring it on. Bring it in. Sign up. Drop your deck list. Yeah, you can't play it, but you can proxy it. I'll give you the game loss, but you can play. You can show up with it.
We'll definitely look at it and be like, "Wow, that's awesome! How ballsy was that?"
It looks like we are going to get ready to go here in our third matchup. I'm wondering if anything new came into the sideboard there.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've already gotten a pretty good handle on what each other's playing. So it may just vary based on play draw, right? Like we may see some number of forces and or dazes come in or out based on the play draw. But other than that, I don't really see much changing.
I'm super excited to see this game 3. Both players playing at their absolute best. Unfortunately, Tensai just not really having an answer to 2 Delvers on the field there. As I'm looking here, not running really any swords. Oh no, they are swords. I couldn't see them.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Just unfortunately for Tensei, they haven't seen any swords yet, but that ends up being probably the most powerful card in their deck against the Shadow deck.
Absolutely. 8. That's now 4 games in a row we have, or now this would be game 6. We have not seen a swords hit the battlefield against 2 basically creature-based decks.
Right.
I really want to see a game where we have all 4 street wraiths go into the battlefield, go into the bin on turn 1, 8 life off the top, play a turn 1 Death Shadow for 1.
Oh man.
Get it in from there. That's the hope, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a beautiful play pattern right there. You love to see that.
Alrighty. Let's get rolling into game 3. All right, Verdant's going to keep his 7.
Perfect.
It's always a good sign when you're on chat if you can keep 7 card hands.
Oh yeah. Yeah, not much feels better. You always hate to mulligan, but you know sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. The game didn't end on turn 1. Can you call us like we're not playing Vintage? We're playing Legacy. Vintage is the games that end on turn 1. We're playing Legacy.
Yeah, I mean that is sort of a misconception. I mean, although it does happen here, it certainly happens here in Legacy from time to time. But you know, you'll see a lot of grind fests as well.
Yeah. We've had some grinds tonight. Malfi in game 2 grinded out. Even into that game 3 when getting over a Stony Silence. Here we're seeing the Delver play back and forth, push and push and push and back and forth, trying to get these life totals as low as possible.
So it looks like Tensei didn't do the full-on control route and board out the Delvers. I've heard of some sort of blade decks boarding in and out of the Delvers, but it seems like Tensei's just stuck with the plan A.
Yeah, I think that's still the right play. It's really your only creature kills at the moment, other than until you find a Batter Skull. We are going to see here basically a great turn 1 for Verdant. Shock, shock into Thoughtseize all the way down to 15 on turn 1, and what a hand! We were talking about seeing those Swords to Plowshares. There's 3.
There they are.
Good lord,
3 of a kind. So do you think it's just worth it to take the Force, or are you going to say, well?
I think you just take the Force. It becomes redundant at that point. You know he's got him. Why fight into him?
Yeah.
I think. Oh, they are going to take a sword here. I guess no Force card backup. I guess it's fine to leave the Force in.
Yeah. Yeah, Malfi in chat says someone needs a Cabal therapy. Oh yeah, certainly. There's also the fact that Verdant could have boarded in these Hymn to Torax and could just nab the 2 left.
Absolutely, that is a total possibility here. I mean, knocking down 2 from 3 removal is always a good thing, but when you have 3, I think. Yes, you're right, Z. Sword is Zorenia from our CEDH Nexus channel over there. You're absolutely right. Swords is really good against Shadow because it just knocks your life total back up to what it used to be.
Right. And I mean, I guess Verdant's just climbing that mountain, right? Said, I'll get rid of them all eventually. And if, that's one less that I have to counter later.
So we're going to see a cycled Street Wraith into a Ponder here. Not much you can do with a Ponder.
Wait, what's that?
Going to see the Ponder here. I think it's just a great play here.
Oh, yeah, always.
But knowing they've got 3 swords in hands really just makes you want to hold on to everything in your hand at the moment. Show the Delver.
Alrighty. Well, and with that Ponder, we didn't see a shuffle, did we? So, but there's the one. There's one swords out of hand.
14. We want to thank Astrid this game as our table spotter, doing a great job giving us these calls from the table side, allowing us to do our jobs up here in the booth. We're going to see a Stoneforge Mystic Slam here from Tensei. I think now would probably not be a terrible idea to see a Batter Skull. You've got 2 swords in hands. Now I don't got to worry about what you're blocking me with here. We are going to force the Stoneforge Mystic here. Let's see if we get some fight back.
Right. Yeah, Verdant just doing the Delver thing, right? Says, look, I'm going to try and just bleed you out of cards and just beat you to death with this Delver.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Go.
3 cards in hand for Verdant. Stoneforge gets countered. I think it's a great play from Verdant just to keep the battlefield clear of everything.
Certainly. Especially now that the Delver's gone, right?
We're going to Thoughtseize again. Go on the train. Let's
There
get
we
a look
are.
at what you picked up so far. We know 1 swords is gone.
Okay.
4 Swords Island. I think we take the swords here. That's the best play. We've now gotten rid of all the swords.
And yeah, Tensei's left with just a naked Force of Will and a land. That's exactly where Verdant wants to be.
Yeah, I think it's the best play. And we're going to slam an Angler knowing that you can't do anything about it.
4-turn clock.
You have to stare at it and think about what you've done. There is an Angler sitting on the other side of the battlefield hungry for your life total.
That's right, the real big fish. Break out your horns, everybody.
So we got to possibly see that 4th copy of Swords here. Maybe get some things like we have Supreme Verdict mana in hand. If we can get another island on the battlefield, which we know he has.
That's right.
So let's see what we got here.
Force of Will, land, and unknown.
So we're going to play the known land, the snow-covered island that we know. 1 unknown in hand, 1 Force of Will known, and it looks like it's going to be the 4th copy of Swords to Plowshares off the top.
Goodness. Heart of the cards, huh?
Putting them up to 16 outside of shadow range. Once again, just sticking them in the zone of not being able to cast their main threat.
That's right.
But now we know that as of right now, Tensei only has a Force just stuck in hand.
Well, and Verdant's not playing anything to the board, so it looks like we're going to go back to this old draw-go plan that we saw in Game 2.
Yeah, still the Force of Will, only known card in hand because we saw a fetch come down. Fetch, pass. Looks like the play we're going to see right now. We are into the grind. Yeah, and Verdant can't shock fetch into a shadow. It'd still be at 13. It's a very unfortunate spot. Thanks, Luther, for pointing that out.
And now Tensei does have the hardcast Force of Will mana, so it's not just stuck in hand anymore.
Oh, we do not have a naked Force of Will. We have a full able castable Force of Will. And that's got to be running in Verdant's mind. What can I do knowing they've got 5 untapped mana?
Exactly. I mean, what are your options, right? Draw another discard spell, bait it out.
Absolutely.
Have your own counter magic to fight over your threats.
Yeah, it becomes we're in a real attrition game here of I know what you have. What can I do about it?
And we're just passing again.
Pass, go, back and forth, back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if Tensei may have just be sitting on a Supreme Verdict, just sitting in hand, just waiting for those cards to hit the battlefield.
Very true, yeah. And I mean, why even try to end up in a counter battle when you can just play an uncounterable board sweeper?
Absolutely. And one of the best cards in Standard when it was in Standard, one of the best cards in Pioneer and Modern right now. There's a reason why that card is so good.
Yeah, oh yeah. Super powerful, right? I mean, Wrath of God was powerful enough, and then you make it uncounterable.
Uncounterable. Yeah, absolutely. And give it a beautiful art.
Yeah, Astrid, our table spotter, says Magic is Richard Garfield intended.
Drago. This is peak Magic.
That's right.
We're going to see a Wasteland popping something, I guess, here. Probably hitting the Tundra. Yeah, it's the right play here.
For sure.
Peak Magic.
And that takes Tensei off of that hardcast force mana. That's another angle that can attack that game plan, yeah.
Yeah. So we are now stuck again in this. But Tensei has crawled up to now 5 cards in hand, just sitting here waiting, knowing that they have full control.
Yes, and as this game goes long, Tensei does sort of have the needle go in their direction just a little bit more, being the sort of control deck. Well, we're back to force mana. All right.
We are back up to force mana. Yeah, Thera Standard was a great set. And don't you hate on my boy Thragtusk. That was a great card. Thragtusk one of the beasts of Standard.
Tell him, Hoffy.
Aetherling Control was a great set, was a great deck too, but there was nothing getting around a Sphinx's Rev, a Sphinx's Revelation with Supreme Verdict and Elixir of Immortality backup.
Oh,
you just couldn't win through it. There's a reason why Ivan won the Pro Tour on that build. It was just untouchable. I mean, even though it's regarded as one of the best sets Pro Tours ever, you just couldn't touch Ivan. We are going to see the Stoneforge Mystic here hitting the battlefield. Let's see what we have with Shadow here. He hated the Elixir deck. The true control deck, Chaotic. There you go. The Maze's End. We playing it in Modern.
Like we're doing a double fetch here, so we may have a hardcast force on this Stoneforge Mystic.
That also could possibly put them down to 12 and even further. Double fetch, double shock puts them all the way down to 10. Oh, that puts them down to 10.
Yeah, Verdant's going hard. Maybe got those shadows in hand, huh?
Could absolutely be showing shadow in hand. Could absolutely going to hard cast a Force of Will here. I think that's the right play.
Oh, yeah.
But we could absolutely see 2 3/3s hitting the board here. Going down to 9 here is... Oh, wait, never mind. That's if you pay the alternate cost. Going to stay at 10 here.
Yeah, still got those 3/3s coming at you.
Yeah. Looks like Tensei is in the tank here about letting this force resolve, and it's going to resolve getting rid of the Stoneforge Mystic.
All right. But yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be another barn burner of a match here.
Then we're going to see a cycled streak right here down to 8. Now we've got 5/5s if they come out.
All right.
See what we got here. I'm excited. I think Verdant's going to start making some moves here, but it looks like he's just going to go. We are in attrition here. We are really in attrition. I think my thought process on Verdant is to get multiple threats in hand and try and play them all in the same turn. Make you have all the answers at once.
That's right. Just try and overload Tensei.
We're going to get a Sanctuary trigger here. Probably going to get back a sword, put on top of the library. Yeah, it's the best move when all 4 are already in the bin.
Yeah, and as we pointed out before, 1 swords on a Death Shadow makes all of the other Death Shadows, much smaller, if not dead, right?
Absolutely. I'm loving we're seeing this Pioneer Standard Modern talk in the Legacy chat. Welcome to Magic the Gathering, folks.
Yeah, this is a place for everybody, right?
Now we are going to Wasteland the Mystic Sanctuary, the best call.
Certainly.
As also the only valid target, but
hey,
let's put Strip Mine back in Legacy. Let's put Strip Mine in Legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Kill all the basics.
Let's do it.
Give Death and Taxes more tools, please.
Also, make Stifle great again.
We are going to see a Snapcast Mage probably targeting. What could we target here with a Snapcaster Mage? Probably.
Possibly
No target.
Cantrip
No
to
target.
start. Oh,
Naming no target. That's wild.
Ambush Viper. Getting snuffed out. Yeah, we're just seeing threats and the answers and the threats and the answers.
Yeah, and also we saw that Verdant full casted that snuff out. Doesn't want to go too far down the rabbit hole of going down to 4 with a possible who knows hitting the battlefield here.
Right,
Verdant
just
with
in
4
case,
cards.
right? Batterskull,
Yeah,
something.
absolutely. Verdant with 4 cards in hand. I mean, Tensei with 4 cards in hand. Just not exactly sure what we're gonna do next year. I think that's the best answer. Let's figure out what's in the hand.
Yeah, now we all get to see. Let's show the whole class. Umezawa is Jite, Force of Will, Swords, and is that Hall of
That's a
Heliod?
Heliod's Generosity.
Oh my goodness, coming
2
back.
decks in a row I get to see that card. Down to 6 for Dimir Shadow here. I think we take the swords again. Once again,
Yeah.
Hall's Force is just stuck in hand.
Yeah,
Other
and
than the full hard cast, it's just stuck in hand.
right. And I mean, Tensei went through, great lengths to try and get that swords back. So obviously it's important to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, if you kill a shadow, it just bounces the shadow back to everything else we needed. Back up to whatever we do, we put ourselves back up to 13 life. We just stick ourselves in that hole. Stick the player in that hole. Gonna hard cast a Batterskull.
As you had said, Verdant doesn't want to go down too low. And that's why.
That's an absolutely accurate thing for Verdant to do. Batterskull is always a threat at the table.
Yeah, and if Tensei untaps, it also gets double dangerous, right? Because then Tensei can just bounce the Batterskull in response.
We're going to see an Eliminate targeting the Germ token. I think that's the right play. There's your card, the Eliminate doing work.
Right, we're not going to make it to the untap. So, yeah, good stuff on Verdant there. Just having it.
Yeah, chaotic. I didn't know that card had a cast. Yeah, sometimes we pay 5, sometimes we pay 2. Depends on what we have to do.
Right? I mean, we've been seeing hard cast forces all day. All right, we got a ponder, some selection here. What do you think Tensei's digging for here?
I think possibly a creature at this point. He's got to get. He's so close to just taking Verdant out of this game. A flip Delver puts him on a 2-turn clock.
That's right.
I mean, even getting a Snapcaster puts a 2-power creature on the board.
Tensei does like what they see, though. They do shuffle, or they do not shuffle, and they draw the top card.
You
and
can
once
also
this Batterskull itself is a threat. If the equipment itself can't be answered, then Tensei can just bounce it and redeploy it.
Or even if in the big case, put it on a creature. Put
Exactly.
it on a Stoneforge Mystic.
Exactly. Hey, and we do see the Hymn to Thorax get boarded in.
Yes, there we go. Discard 2 cards at random.
Tensei said, hey, I saw that, or Verdant says, hey, I saw you like that card on top, so let's see you get rid of it.
We'll take the middle card. There goes the Force of Will. I bet you Verdant feels real good right now seeing that Force being the first card gone.
All right, what do we got here?
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Double Force on the battlefield, getting hit by him. What
People say that casting Force of Will is sort of Hymn to Thoraxing yourself, or you could just get Hymn to Thorax for 2 Force of Wills.
Yeah, that's insane. EOT, and then end of turn bounces Batterskull back to his hand. I think that's the right move for Tensei. He's got to put the pressure on now, knowing he has no counterspell backup.
Exactly.
We're gonna slam it again.
Oh boy, answering with a force of his own.
Force show and stub. That's just rude.
The old stubby D, huh?
Good old stub denial. Great modern powerhouse, that card. Love seeing that card hit players. The 1 mana up on to Tensei's side of the board with a full stack of shocks and fetches on Verdant's side. We could see just Thoughtseize, get rid of the last card in your hand, and let's open this game up.
Supreme Verdict and Umezawa's Jite.
Looks like a Council's Judgment. Actually, I didn't think that card would come in. Oh, he's got him in the main. He's got one in the main of a Council's Judgment.
Ooh, Hadouken! Thank you for the follow.
Thank you. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome.
Thanks for the Hadouken.
Oh, neck cowbell. Let's see. Some good decks that I definitely wouldn't recommend Storm to learn in 3 days. I would think maybe a castable tempo deck, like maybe Elves or Sneak and Show is definitely a good one.
For sure. A plus B combos are usually pretty good, right?
Yeah. Burn's a great deck. It's also cheap to put together if you didn't want to do a full proxy list.
Zerania says Dredge. I'm going to probably do that. I mean, Dredge, that's not really playing Magic. No,
Maverick's another great choice. Just tempo control with green backup. Play your Knight of Autumns. Play your Knight of the Reliquaries.
D&T, for sure.
D&T's a great choice. Gotta love D&T.
I mean, that's one of those easy to learn, hard to master decks. So, I mean, that you'll get lots of mileage out of it.
Absolutely. Death Tax is a great deck to learn to sit there and figure out what the best lines of choices are for decks you're playing. It's a great way to learn the format, in my opinion. That's why I consistently, it's my pet deck. I love playing Death and Taxes.
It's a
teaches you so much about the format. Unfortunately, I hate to be sad. There is a card in my list that did not make it in time today, so the basics are not in yet on my list. I'm very sad about it. They are not here yet. I was hoping they were going to get here today.
That's all right. They're coming, though.
They're coming. There's the Shadow. We are going to see an 11-11 hit the battlefield here.
Commissar Rage, thanks for the follow. Just in time to see this.
Get out of here, Rage. Get out of here. I like the sneak pop. I'm so glad you guys all showed up. Thank you, John. Welcome to the stream, my friend.
Killing it.
Dredge is what you play when you go to a baseball game and play MMA. Yeah, that's just about it.
That's true. When you're playing Dredge, the only cards you really need to learn are sideboard cards, honestly. Everything else, you just win. If it says do something mean to your graveyard, learn what it does and deal with that, and then you'll be good, yeah.
Yeah, so, man, both these players really in the tank here. Tensei has to find an answer relatively soon here. I'm sure he's thinking about every single line that this Ponder could give him. If it doesn't get rid of this Death Shadow, which is now a turn 2 clock, he likes what's on top. If we get a Mystic Sanctuary, put a Swords to Plowshares on top, we're back in business here. I don't know if the deck's running more than one. I see now it's only running one.
Teferi is a good answer to this Death Shadow here.
Teferi is a good answer to this Death Shadow. Bounce it back to your hand. Deal with it later. Doesn't like everything else on top of the library, but I'm guessing that Teferi is what they saw.
Chat just getting wily over here. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming in and making this what it is. If you just joined, this is the MTG Paper Legacy Discord. We're doing the Legacy Fight Night. I'm Ivan Luz. I got Hoffy up top, my homie.
It's a good night so far.
Amazing. Good round, good matches.
Great games.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to show a Delver. So now we have a blocker. We have a Death Shadow blocker.
All right. Hey, Neo Cowbell, thank you so much for the follow. I saw you there in chat. Appreciate you.
Welcome, Cackle. So glad to see you here, man. It's all right, man. It's just Magic the Gathering. Creatures turn sideways and hit your life total. That's all that matters.
Yeah, Perez saying Legacy is very fun. It's not nearly as degenerate as people seem to think it is. Well, I mean, I guess it just depends on who you're playing that night, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a negative connotation between Legacy, and I think it's slowly drifting away now that Legacy isn't as aggressive as it used to be. We're having proxy legal tournaments like here at the MTG Paper Legacy Discord. We allow full proxy decks. All 75 cards can be proxy as long as we know exactly what those cards are. We're gonna snuff out the Delver again.
All right. Once again, we're just playing this threat, answer, dance, just back and forth.
Yeah, so to our vault, I keep seeing a lot of people who not exactly knowing what Legacy is. Legacy is basically one of the oldest formats in Magic. We allow basically deck cards all the way back as far as Alpha with their printing. Just as long as they're not too aggressive, not too abusive, we allow basically every card in Magic that is not either aggressive, abusive, or downright just not allowed in Magic, like our old school anti cards.
That's right. And so you're going to see this a huge range of decks and playstyles, right? Like we talked about, you'll see these super fast degenerate combos, but you also have very extremely efficient answers to be able to combat these things. And so sometimes you'll see games that go on a little slow, grindy. It's got everything, basically. It's got everything you could possibly want from a game of Magic, really.
So we are on the breaking point here with Verdant. Verdant has gone to 1.
All you need, right?
All you need.
Greatness at any cost.
Greatness at any cost. Good old Dark Confidant flavor text there.
All right, so we're seeing a Wasteland here, a late game Wasteland. Hey, it's better than never. It's hitting that Hall of Heliod's Generosity, so we're not going to continue to get the value out of that.
I don't care what anybody said. That car is a tank. There's a 12-12, and it looks like we're going to see a full force 8th. What is that? Oh, that's a Shark Typhoon.
Typhoon.
The Shark Typhoon.
All right. And that's going to be it, right? Because the shark's going to have flying, and it's going to fly
absolutely.
Right over that shadow.
Tensei is going to get there with the end step Shark Typhoon. What an amazing game to both of them. Just getting there at the last moment.
Well, hey, Hoffy, man, thanks again for doing commentary with me, just coming out, being the absolute homie, and good luck, man, in round 3.
You, I hope to see you guys all in round 3. I hope to win. I don't exactly know what I'm going against, but I'm going to bring some Death and Taxes fun to the table.
It's going to be a blast, folks.
See you all soon, guys. Great job. See you in round 3.
See you there, man.